Hello everyone, I hope the apocalypse is treating you well. Just back again I suppose for a little bit of my year in review of my experience playing what bit of Armada I can. Sorry about the delay, we've been a little bit busy. As you can see, we're in a new command bunker, and a lot has been going on. Launched a bunch of different games this year in work, and it's been a bit crazy. And we moved the week before Christmas, so a lot of things have been happening, hence no videos, and keep getting distracted. So what I'm going to do today is a small bit for the year coming to an end, a little bit of a year in review of what I think has been going on with the factions in the competitive play I've seen. If you disagree, leave a comment below. Let me know what you think. But yeah, this is what I think's been happening anyway. Other people may disagree, but feel free to let me know if you do. So we'll start I think I'm going to start from the order in which I think the factions are kind of working out at the minute. For the Republic, I think they're the weakest faction right now. And maybe it's just people haven't figured them out. Or maybe the problem are these two ships. They're the coolest looking ships. They're what everyone wants to fly. They're, what we saw in the movies most and the Clone Wars. But they're trying to do too much, I think, for what they are. There's a whole load of good upgrades out there for them, a whole load of things they want to do, but it all requires command tokens. Which means they don't get to do they don't get to kind of do a lot of different commands. They're usually empowering a spat, or they've got a movement token to try and get around things while trying to command squadrons, and that nav chart. Like when we look at the Separatists later on, we look at the Muni and the Recusant nav chart, and this is a heap of shite compared to it. Like it's the newest ship apart from the Pelta, but I don't know, they just like the one is effective without too much on it, but I think with the two you need to put a bit too much points on it for what it does, and this is a joke. The flak is fantastic, but I don't know, I think their strengths lay in these boys and these boys. I don't know that we've seen a list take advantage enough of them. Like, I suppose that Acclimator spam does seem to do a lot of work, but I don't know, I haven't found that anyone's quite cracked the Republic this year. There have been some good lists and some good commanders, but I don't know, there's something a little bit off about the Republic. I still think it needs, and I'm betting it's going to be like Veers or Tok'ra or somebody like that who just comes up with a list that can't be beat out of them. But I think it's just they're a puzzle box that we haven't unlocked the puzzle with yet. But I do worry that like this nav chart here and this nav chart here just makes them a bit too predictable. Just a little. Like splat cannons have been fun for everybody involved, or spat cannons, or whatever you prefer to call them. Like, they have been messing stuff up, causing people problems. They've been great fun. But I don't know, I feel like Republic is the weakest faction at the moment. Coming in second, I hate to say, and I do hate to say it as a primarily Rebel player, is the Rebels. being held in place by these two ships, realistically. Foresight has been doing some amount of work and scaring the living daylights out of people. However, as we can already see, it's a 71.4 hull ship. And some of the stuff that's been running around has just been getting those accuracies, locking it down. I found more and more, just for peace of mind, you either wanted Lando or you wanted ECM on any torpedo frigate you were running. Either or. And to be honest, I think Lando is needed in the squadron fight. I think I would love if just Lando got swapped with Han in terms of abilities on the Millennium Falcon, or we got a Han officer who protected your fleet. Jaina's Light and either TRCs or Link Turbo Laser turrets. Then these two ships have been doing a bulk of the carrying. And then you've got Agate, you've got Akbar, who is always just punching above his weight. As we get new players into the scene, Akbar comes smashes their hopes and dreams. And like, I played quite a lot of Akbar, and he's like the rebel easy button. Agate is too low costed, but because she's so low costed, she's allowed some wacky builds. This year I felt there were less Agate wacky builds, but still lots and lots of people playing her. Why is the Starhawk not on here? The Starhawk is not on here because, I don't know, it's just, you either have a plan to deal with it or you don't. And I don't think you get to decide, your opponent gets to decide who wins that game. They either are foolish or they're not foolish. And like, I find that like the amount of low scoring games that the Rebels get with Starhawks are fairly bad. Last guy is Kraken, who's been doing amazing work and still scares the bejesus out of people, particularly with these two ships. But yeah, I think Rebels right now are probably not in the best place. In kind of third rating, I'd put the robots. Patriot's Fist is just been lighting people on fire. And then you've got, you're like, how would you like your extra dice? Would you like extra black dice? Would you like extra red dice? It's like, which mini Akbar would you like? Who's cheaper? And then the hard cells, like both hard cells, either the transport, which is a fantastic support ship that just survives, or the battle refit, which is like, what if a Nebulon was survivable and its main arc worked with all its commanders? That'd be fun. And then of course the Munificence, and then of course the main armament in this whole thing is Link Turbo Laser Towers, which means any red dice shenanigans just works. And the red dice flak has meant that, like, even if they don't bring a lot of fighters, they can still be safe enough. There's a lot of shields to get through, you know. Like, Patriot's Fist is a nightmare. Also, Rebel heavies are having real trouble with swivel mounts and APTs at times, or assault concussion missiles, or any of those. I find that these guys are the kind of the second place. And then if you're going scariest fleet in the world, onagers and interdictors combined. To my mind, slonagers, just the stuff that can be done. Onager testbed is still cheap. And I think it's got a skill cap at the higher end, but I still think just no one only a subset of players are testing with it or against it, because almost nobody wants to be the person who run it, or they don't want to play against it, or both in the play groups. And this is why it's kind of doing a lot of work. I don't think the level of representation of onagers represents their power right now. And that's good. That means as a community we want to play different things. But I still think that they're powerful. And if you look back at what I've mentioned as kind of the rebel and the kind of top ship for the separatists, they're stuff that can get around the onager. But if they're backed by interdictors, you're in a lot of trouble. And then, so, I don't know, I think Imperials are in a very good position at the moment. We've got Sloane, still great. Ramadi, still great. Thrawn, still wonderful. And then, I suppose the big winner for me is second player right now. The amount of objectives is just confusing for people. I think people are not practiced enough with all of them, and if you've a good objective selection, you are going to be ferocious. And I think the bid for second is one of the most powerful things at the moment. But yeah, that's kind of my thoughts for the year. I've had some great fun in some of the TTS tournaments, some of the Vassal tournaments that Green Knight has run. I think we do need to talk about maybe some rankings in some of the bigger tournaments, where you may split it. Maybe have newer players play against new players. We possibly need to talk about like time constraints and things like that for people. It's hard to know, but people are doing fantastic work. So I'm going to try and be, now that I have a new setup and a new room and a new studio, we will be trying to do one or two more videos. If you, the Vassal World Cup is coming up. The deadline for fleet submission is the 7th of December. Or 7th of January. If it was the 7th of December, it's a bit too late. Get a fleet in, try, play if you've any interest in Vassal. I'm going to try and do more games again. They're always posted to the Ion Radio Discord. And yeah, hopefully we'll do more list builds over the year. Alright, but yeah, have a happy Christmas, a happy whatever festivals you celebrate, and we might have a video before the holidays are over again. If there's any fleet you want help building or any ideas, let me know. And if you think I'm just straight wrong, and I might be about any of this stuff, just let me know. Alright, we might also just do a video where I'm painting up some battle mechs, and people are keeping me company, or I'm keeping myself company by talking to you guys. I don't know. Right now we're going with, that's because Howling Griffins were the first Space Marine chapter I ever saw, but we're going with a kind of quartered paint scheme. Oh, that camera's not great, is it? But there'll be pictures on the Ion Radio Discord in the Irish Mad Cat channel anyway. Alright. Anyway, have a great one and talk to you soon.